Hi, and welcome to Yoga with Alicia. Today we're going to work on our gratitude practice, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. We're going to jump right in. So come to sitting on your mat, right on your sit bones, legs crossed. Lengthen through your spine and relax through your shoulders. I'm going to start by bringing your chin towards your chest and rolling it gently to the left side, round to the back to the center. I'm going to keep moving the neck just gently. It doesn't have to go way back. Keeping our spine nice and long. We're going to switch directions. Again, rolling your neck nice and gently. Big circles. As we move through the fall, we start to look more for things around us to be grateful for. It's a time of gratitude, Thanksgiving. And come back to sitting up tall. You're going to take your left hand to your right knee, and your right hand comes behind you for a seated twist. As you inhale, lengthen up through your spine. And as you exhale, you can deepen into the twist. Keep both of your sit bones nice on the floor. Come back to center. And go the other direction, so take your right hand to your left knee. Left hand comes behind you. Exhale, twist. Keep extending through the spine. Nice deep breaths. And come back to the center. We're going to do some cat-cow, but in sitting this time. So staying sitting, arch your back, and then you're going to tilt your pelvis forward and look up to the sky. Tilt back and stretch, and tilt forward and look up to the ceiling. So we're doing the same motion as we would when we're on all fours, but we're going to do it in the seated position. So if you feel like you need to sit on a towel or a block, you can do that, and that'll lift up your hips a little bit so that your pelvis can move more freely. And come back to neutral. And come over onto your knees. And we're going to come up into a high kneeling position. So you're lengthened through the spine. Hands come to your back of your hips there, small of your back. And you're going to push your hips forward and arch back so your chest opens to the sky. Camel pose. Taking in all of that positive, grateful energy right to your heart. Come back to neutral. And turn so that you're on lengthwise on your mat, and you're going to come to your hands and knees. Make sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips, your pelvis in neutral. We're going to come back to that cat-cow. So arch your back up, pressing through your palms, and then tip your pelvis forwards, opening your heart, looking forwards, and then slowly starting from your tailbone, arching your back all the way up, tucking your chin in. You're going to cycle back into cow, pressing back into cat. So you can keep going with this at your own pace. Starting to feel some more flexibility through your spine, through your hips. Warming up your body. Starting to clear your mind. So come back to neutral, tuck your toes under, and press back into downward facing dog. So you can pedal out your feet a little bit, loosen everything up, press your hips up towards the ceiling, shoulder blades back and down. We're going to start on the right side. Take your right foot up between your hands. And we're going to come into a crescent lunge. So hands can come to your knees, keeping that back leg long. It's okay to be a bit wobbly. Reach up overhead. And keep your thighs squeezed together, making sure that your right knee is staying behind your toes, that front leg. You can sink your hips down as low as they'll go. Reach back for the mat, stepping your right foot back in downward facing dog. Stretch everything out. And take your left foot forward and come back into a left-sided crescent lunge, hands to your knees. And once you're balanced, you can stretch them out overhead, keeping your shoulders away from your ears. Shoulder blades come down your back. And that front knee stays behind your toes. And take your hands back to the mat. And step your left foot back up into downward facing dog. Come into plank and chaturanga. All the way to the floor. You're going to keep your hands under your shoulders. And you're going to press up into cobra, arching through the back. Keeping your hips pressed to the floor and your legs engaged. And tuck your toes under. You're going to press back up into downward facing dog. Back to the right side, step forward. Bring that left foot ahead a little bit so that it can have your heel on the floor. And keep the right knee bent. We're coming into warrior one. And then you're going to take the left hand back down your thigh and the right arm outstretched overhead for warrior, reverse warrior. And so circle the arms back up to neutral and step the left foot forward. Into a mountain pose. We want to get nice and grounded. And then we're going to take our right foot, heel up against your leg. Coming into tree, so the right leg comes out to the side. And you can lift that right leg up the leg. So if you can't get it all the way up to the thigh, just going on your shin is okay. And then once you're balanced, you can extend your arms above your head, holding this position, keeping your gaze fixed on something solid, and bring your leg back down. Into mountain pose, ground through the feet, and now we're going to come into tree on the other side. So left foot comes up onto your leg, that standing leg. This can be tricky. If you don't have a lot of mobility in your hips, you're not going to be able to get that left leg way up into the upper thigh. So it's okay to leave it lower. We're still going to work our balance. Extend your arms up overhead. And you can step back down. And if you fall out of the position, just come back to mountain. And we're going to step our right foot back. We're going to come into warrior one on the other side. So the right leg heels down, left knee bent. Sink down through your hips, keeping the left thigh engaged. Arms extend overhead. The right arm comes back to slide down your right leg. The left arm comes above. Horse warrior. Get that nice stretch through your left side body. Circle back up and step forward with the right foot. I'm going to come back to sitting on the mat as we start to cool down. Extend your legs forward. Keep your heels wider than your mat. Extend up through the spine. You're going to fold at your hips. Walk those fingers out forward for a seated forward fold. As you inhale, lengthen up through the spine. And as you exhale, you can walk your fingers a little more forward. Just coming into what's comfortable. You should feel a little bit of stretch through both legs. Coming up, bring the soles of your feet together for a bound angle. Let your knees just fall out to the sides. You don't need to press them. Gravity will do enough work. If you find it uncomfortable or that you're trying to resist them coming to the sides, you can put a block underneath your knees or a blanket, so just to help support them so that they can relax fully into the stretch. And extend your legs out straight and lie back. Once you're on your back, you're going to bring your knees in, bend your knees in so that your heels come as close to your buttocks as you can get them. Your arms are going to come down by your sides, shoulder blades tucked in, and you're going to press your hips up into bridge. Squeezing the inner thighs together. The weight should be on your shoulder blades and not your neck. Keep your neck nice and relaxed. It's an excellent stretch through the front of the hips. We often get really tight and hold on to some of that stress. And bring your hips back down. We're going to come into our final resting pose. So you have two options. You can either keep your knees bent and just lean them against each other. Walk your feet wide of your mat, if that feels better for your back. Or you can fully extend your legs and just let your feet fall to the sides into a nice relaxed pose. Let your legs feel heavy. Sink into the mat. Let your arms feel heavy. Your fingers are relaxed. Relax the muscles of your face, your jaw. And just allow yourself to be supported by the mat. And as you come back to focus on your breath, and think about some of the things that you're grateful for. Some things that maybe are small that have happened today or recently. You had to drink your coffee while it was still hot, or your tea. If you got a few minutes to yourself, if you got to see the sunrise or the sunset. Even little things like a smile or a wave from someone, a family member or a stranger. Reliving all those little moments of gratitude will help us find peace in our day and hope for the future. As you start to come back to the present, start wiggling your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees up. Roll onto your left side and take your time getting up. If you need to spend a few minutes here, you can. Come on back to sitting. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so grateful that you chose to spend your self-care time with me. I wish you all peace, love, and light as you go on your day. Namaste.